The papyrus, put it on my table every month. I don't wanna miss it. Don't even try to hide it. No, I don't wanna lose it. And you see how it is, it's so inviting. The papyrus, we're all so online. The papyrus.
Welcome to the Papyrus News Highlights of the Week. Here are the headlines. NSCDC nabs deportee over alleged visa scam. Apple fined £1.8 billion for favoring its music streaming. Tinubu signs executive orders on oil gas reform. Federal government threatens to revoke licenses of Disco over power supply. Benue State begins implementation of the anti-grazing law again. Excitement as custom reopens the Niger border. The National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has pledged to tackle the challenges associated with the National Identification Number. And on sports, Arsenal has been drawn into the Champions League with Bayern Munich, while Real Madrid will face Manchester City in the fourth round. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have arrested a middle-aged deportee in Ondo State over an alleged visa scam. The NSCDC command in the state, Mr. Oluyemi Ibiloye, paraded the suspect on Tuesday in Akure. Ibiloye said the suspect was arrested in Akure after he absconded from Okitipupa, also in Ondo State, where he allegedly duped people under the guise of facilitating their visa insurance to the United States of America. The command alleged that the suspect claims to be a captain in the United States Army and collected $300,000 from a female victim whom he promised a slot to work in America. On February 20th, a complaint of visa scam was reported against the suspect. He had told his victim when they met online on May 2nd, 2023 that he was a United States of American Army officer on annual leave in Nigeria. In another development, the European Union on Monday hit Apple with a €1.8 billion fine for violating the blog's law by preventing music streaming services from informing others about subscription options outside of its app store. The iPhone maker immediately vows to appeal the first ever antitrust fine slapped on Apple by Brussels. The culmination of a case triggered by a complaint by Swedish music streaming giant Spotify. The European Commission said it found that Apple applied restrictions on app developers, preventing them from informing iOS users about alternative and cheaper music subscription services available outside of the app. This is illegal under the European Union antitrust rules. The EU powerful antitrust regulator said Apple's conduct, which lasted for almost 10 years, may have led many iOS users to pay significantly higher price for music streaming subscription because of the high commission fee imposed by Apple on developers and passed on to consumers, it added. Spotify complaints in 2019 triggered a broad commission investigation into the iPhone maker in 2021. But Brussels narrowed its probe last year to focus on Apple's action to prevent apps from giving users information about rival music subscription options. For a decade, Apple abused its dominant position in the market for the distribution of music streaming apps through the app stores. Commission Vice President Margaret Vestager said in a statement, "We have ordered Apple to remove the necessary provision and to refrain from similar practices in the future," Vestager told reporters. Apple slammed the Commission's decision and said it would appeal. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved 3 new directives in the oil and gas sector to introduce fiscal incentives for related projects, reduce contracting costs and timeline, and promote cost efficiency in local content requirements. The following extensive engagement, analysis, and benchmarking with other jurisdictions. A statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngilale, reads Wednesday. The statement is titled President Tinubu signed Executive Order on Oil and Gas Reforms. According to Ngilale, Tinubu approves the introduction of fiscal incentive for non-associated gas, mainstream and deep waters development, streaming of contracting process to compress the contracting cycle to 6 months, the application of the local content requirements without hindering investment, the cost competitiveness. Wednesday's directive is in keeping with his effort to remove obstacles to investment in Nigeria, harness the nation's resources, and diversify the economy for the benefit of Nigeria, said the presidency. It is also expected to improve the investment climate and position Nigeria as the preferred investment destination for the oil and gas sector in Africa, the statement further explained. Ngilale noted that the incentives were developed in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Justice, Finance, Petroleum, Budget and Economic Planning, Federal Inland Revenue Services, the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the Nigeria Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. The details of this policy directive will be gazetted and communicated by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, even as the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, Mrs. Olu Veyin-Jen, has been directed to continue coordinating the aforementioned stakeholders to ensure the implementation of this directive within a stipulated time frame. Going further, the federal government on Wednesday threatened to revoke the licenses of the power distribution companies over persistent poor power supplies across the country. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, made this known on his X handle. He said the Chief Executive of Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, and the Managing Director of Transmission Company of Nigeria have been summoned to a crucial meeting to explain the current challenges faced nationwide. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the worsening power supply in their respective region and to collectively find lasting solutions, he said. He lamented the insufficient electricity distribution by the DISCO, despite the generation companies saying the ministry has been exerting pressure on the generating companies to enhance their performance, resulting in a recent increase in generation to over 4,000 megawatts. Despite this progress, certain distribution companies are failing to adequately distribute the power supplied by TCN, while vandalism of power infrastructure exacerbates this problem in regions such as Abuja, Benin, Port Harcourt, and Ibadan. He stated his commitment to hold all distribution companies accountable for their performance, as willful non-performance will not be tolerated and severe consequences, including license revocation, may be imposed. He added, I have instructed TCN to prioritize repair works on damaged transmission towers and power lines to improve supply in affected regions. During recent supervisory visit to power generating plants, I have witnessed firsthand the challenges faced by these sectors. Going to Benue, Benue State government has stated that it has begun the full implementation of the anti-open grazing law in the state under the APC government. This was disclosed on Wednesday by the State Deputy Governor, Dr. Samode, while briefing journalists on the resolution of the State Security Council meeting. The Deputy Governor noted that the full implementation of the anti-open grazing law began with the expiration of the 14 days ultimatum given to arm headers and those grazing openly in the state to vacate. He said, having reviewed the report of the 7-man committee constituted to draw modalities for the withdrawal of armed herdsmen engaging in open grazing and their armed herders from the state within 14 days, it has resolved that the implementation of the law begins as of Wednesday. He said, as from now, anyone who engages in open grazing in the state will have the full weight of the law bear on him. Also speaking, the chairman of the committee, who is the first commander of the operation, Wild Stroke, Major General Sunday Igbenonwahia, said that it was now time for a kinetic approach after the 14 days ultimatum. He explained that security operatives embarked on clearance operation during the non-kinetic operation. The commander added that a lot of compliance was made when the ultimatum lasted. He said, now that the ultimatum has elapsed, security operatives will now begin implementation of the anti-open grazing law. The anti-open grazing law was enacted by the immediate past administration of Governor Samuel Otom in 2017, and its full implementation was effected. But as soon as the present administration of Hyacinth Alia assumed office, there seems to be a bit of pause in the implementation of the law. I'm sure Benue State citizens are happy with the renewed attack of herdsmen that the implementation is to resume. Going further, the Nigeria Customs Service, Sokoto State Command, reopened the land border between Nigeria and Niger Republic in the Ilela local government area, causing jubilation in the community. Nigeria's federal government has lifted a military-imposed ban on Niger Republic, reopening borders and restoring electricity following the lifting of the Economic Community of West Africa states ban on the country. The Sokoto State Customs Command has officially reopened the border as announced by the Controller of Customs, Sokoto Zamfara Command, Kamal Mohammed. The Comptroller urged MDAs and security agencies to collaborate for trade facilitation and information sharing, and commended customs license agents and the Ilela community for patience during the 7-month border closure. Moving forward, Abisoye Koka Oduseti, the Director General and CEO of the National Identity Management Commission, has pledged to tackle obstacles hindering the agency's achievement of the universally recognized national identification system. She stated that she would continue despite obstacles such as infrastructural and logistical issues in the agency's National Identification Number Enrollment Process, NIN. Ayodele Babalola, her technical advisor, media and communication, made the commitment following a meeting with the State Committee on National Identity and National Population. Senator Gbenga Daniel chaired a meeting for the NIMC DG, discussing issues such as infrastructural constraints and logistical challenges in NIN enrollment. She highlighted ongoing initiatives aimed at enhancing service delivery, improving operational efficiency, and expanding the reach of NIN enrollment services across the country. The Director General assured the Committee of NIS commitment to implementing recommendations, emphasized the need for teamwork and national interest, and placed Senate support for sustainable solutions. The Director General's attendance at the Senate Committee meeting exemplifies NIMC's commitment to uphold transparency, accountability, and stakeholders' engagement in strengthening Nigerians' identity management infrastructure. On the sports scene, the UEFA Champions League draw for the quarters and semi-finals round took place in Lyon, Switzerland. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Barcelona, Arsenal have qualified for the quarter-finals. Arsenal has been drawn against FC Bayern Munich, while Real Madrid will face defending champion Man City in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Quarterfinals draw: Q4 Paris Saint-Germain vs FC Barcelona. Q3 Real Madrid vs Manchester City. Q2 Atletico Madrid vs Borussia Dortmund. Q1 Arsenal vs Bayern Munich. Semi-finals pairing are thus: winners of Q2 versus winners of Q4, winners of Q1 versus winners of Q3. The rule for the championship quarter-final draws are as follows. 8 teams that advance to the round of 16 will compete in the draw, with all 8 teams likely to face each other due to no seeding. The semi-finals and final routes will be determined following the 2018-2019 champion tradition, ensuring the 8th qualified team know the required path to reach the finals, with the host team drawing the first ball. Date of Champions League quarter-final matches. The quarter-finals will be played on April 9th and 10th for the final leg, while the conclusion will come 1 week later on the 16th and 17th of the same month, respectively. This has been the Papyrus TV Africa.
The papyrus, put it on my table.